Hello. Hello. Let me know when you've signed on. Let me know when you're here. Hi, Mama. I wasn't sure how many people would want to color tonight, but since I'm coloring, I might as well go live and color with you guys. So, hi. I'm going to give it a couple of minutes and see if, well, maybe not minutes, but I'm going to give it just a little bit to see if we have anybody coming on. Might just be us. I'll go ahead and set up what our first set of colors are going to be. YR18, YR16, YR15, Y35, and YR31. So we have these cute little waddling ducks that released today with our Digi-Stamp release. So I printed them out on Sweet Sentiment paper. Hi, Jamie. Hi, Cheryl. So I was saying we had a new release today, so I printed out these little waddling ducks because I thought they were so cute. And I thought since I was going to color them up today, I would do it live tonight for you guys. So this is the color combination for the beak, for their beaks and their feet. So that's where I'm going to start today. And then we'll move into the yellows that we're going to do the body in. Yes. So Jamie and I talked earlier today, and we were both going to go live tonight and color the same thing. So she said, well, you can do it. Hello, Deanna. I know, it's a surprise. I went out last night and didn't get to do a live yesterday, so I thought that I would just jump on tonight and color these little ducks with you guys. So I'm gonna zoom in so we can get started. I think these little ducks are so cute, and they don't have a lot of detail in them, so we're gonna put the detail in them. Yay! I'm so glad. Yeah, I just decided since I was home, I was out last night, so I'm sorry I wasn't here for coloring last night, but I figured, why not give you guys an extra one tonight? So I'm going to start with the beaks and the feet. And so those are the colors that I chose to start with. And so let's get going. I didn't know if you guys were going to print it out and color with me, but if you want to, if we start slow with the beaks, you guys can jump in with the body after you print it out. But we're going to start by putting some shadowing around this part that's close to the face. And I'm going to put a really, really thin line right below this black line that's there. I'm going to do this beak too, so I want to do this part right here where it meets up, where it's kind of covered by his top beak, into the bottom. Oh, yeah. I don't usually wear my ring, but I left it on tonight. I do wear it when I go out, so I was out today. It does look mighty big on the camera. So I'm just putting it up here where it meets his face. And then I'm going to put just a little bit down here at the edge of the beak. Sometimes it looks like their beaks kind of curve down, so I thought it might be nice to put it on there as well. So just a little bit of this, and we'll go back in and do his little feet in a little bit. But we're going to do YR16. I usually don't wear any jewelry at all when I'm crafting, but so I'm going to kind of push this back in because I don't really want to pull that dark color out too much. I want it to kind of stay back there in that shadowed area. I'm going to go along the top of this line. These are pretty small places if you printed it small. I printed mine, let's see how big I printed mine. Makes my fingers look skinny. I know, that's why I like it. So I printed them about 2.5 inches tall and about 2.5 inches wide. So I did them 2.5 by 2.5 pretty much. I never really remember exactly what I put it on, because I set these up a while ago. I mean, I know they were just released, but I drew them, so I printed them out a long time ago. Also, if you stick around, you'll get to see, hi June, if you stick around, you'll get to see the cards that I made with all of the release, the Digi-Stamp release. Otherwise, you have to wait till I post them. They're super cute. I like them a lot. And with Easter coming up here pretty soon, it's going to be they're going to be really useful with the Easter, I think. So that's YR16. I'm going to move on to YR15. Look, I put that one in upside down. So I'm going to just pull out a little bit from there. Kind of do the top because this is my third color. I'm going to do most of the bottom of that one. I'm going to fill in a lot of this one too, leaving some just shiny parts at the top. I'm going to finish this one. And I'm going to start filling in here just a little bit. I'm also going to come back in with a pinkish color to put over that. Now that I have YR15, mine got a crack in the lid and that was all she wrote. Y35. So now I've switched from a yellow red to a yellow color. So this one I'll change it just a little bit. I'm going to do this bottom part. And then I'm going to do most of this, leaving just a little bit. And since it's a different tone, like with the yellow, I'm going over the orange just a little bit, just to give it that even look. There we go. Not a whole lot of that one. Not a whole lot space left, but I am going to use YR31 just to soften everything up. and show the highlight. So I'm going to finish this off right here. And you'll see that really, if I hold it up close, you can see how that really left like a little highlight there on his beak. And then I'm going to do the same with this one. And here. And then I'm going to go in with my R22. It's a bit darker than I would do cheeks and stuff, but I'm going to just go along here and kind of bring in that like pink color. Just to kind of, I'll show you, just to kind of bring it in that he has, like, you know, his tongue is right there. And then I'm going to go over it one more time with this Y35 to darken it up a little bit. Yes, we are very busy getting ready for that first show. And then that will finish off the little beaks. So I've been, when I went on my little mini trip with my hubby, I took the fish that we've been coloring and fussy cut while we drove, which was a challenge in itself, but well worth the time, because instead of just sitting in the car, I was fussy cutting. I got 180 of them cut, so super happy about that. Yeah, because I'm going to be there in 3 days. So I'm doing this under, all the way up here at the top where it's under his little belly. I guess that's what you'd call it. I don't know, but I'm doing all of them at the same time because it's just it's only 2.5 by 2.5, so it's pretty small. But you know, when you get, that's the cool part about the digital stamps, is that when you get the digital stamps, you can make them as big or as small as you want. And then I'm going to go in here, and these little web areas, I'm going to put some real dark in these little web areas on all of them. So on all these areas right here. Notice I'm holding my marker upright, very upright, because I want really, really skinny little brush strokes. So I want to leave space for more shading in these little webbed feet. There we go. So we can already see a little dimension. What is that color? Is it the first one? Yes, it's YR18. It's the first one that I used for the beaks as well. I'll show you. See? So I put it way up in here and then way in here. And now we put it down here on his little feet. Hi, Jen. And then YR16 is next. So in total, we're not going to use that many markers tonight. Oh, thanks. I'm so glad you like them. I thought they were perfect for just in time for Easter. So I'm going to pull from the darkest area down his leg a little bit with this YR16 and a little bit further on the inside of his leg. Hi, Julie. So how many of you were just hanging out thinking, wish there was a live tonight? Oh wait, they are doing one tonight. We aren't doing weekend lives all the time, But since I was home and there'll be a couple days next week that we may have a problem because I didn't get any boxes. Maybe Jamie did. Since I'll be traveling to Idaho and then we'll be traveling together to California, Jamie and I figured I'd add a few extra ones in here while I can. So now I'm just, going over those same areas that I put the YR18 with the YR16. And I'm holding my pen really upright and really down close to the nib. See how close to the nib? I'm holding it like way down here. So that I can get really tiny brush strokes, because I really just want to smooth that transition of that dark to the light. Oh, you guys got your ATCs? That's great. That means they're starting to arrive. I never know if you guys got them or when you guys got them until somebody posts that they got theirs, and then I'm like, oh right, they're making it there. They're so much fun, you guys. Everybody did such a good job this time. And everybody got one of mine because it's got the calendar on it. I made more than the amount of people that participated. So I ended up with like 3 or 4 extra ones here, but I wanted to make sure everybody got one. So then YR15 is next, and that's the third one in our 5 color combo. So I am going to go down here and do a little bit on his little, I don't know, what do you call those? Toes, claws? I don't know. But I am going to do a little bit in here, since this is my 3rd color. Yay! You can start coloring again. That always makes me happy when I can color. And then I'm just going to pull this down a little bit further. So now I'm just really leaving the tops of his feet for the yellow color that we're going to put in next. So I have to hold my pen up really high just to make sure I get all these filled in with teeny tiny brush strokes. So the next one. I didn't put any feathers when I drew this image inside the bodies, because I figured that would give everyone else the opportunity when you're coloring it to make your own decision on where you want to put the little feathers and stuff. You are not allowed to go upstairs and get your markers. I don't even like going upstairs in my house. And it's this spot right there. I'm going to pull this down because I want to just leave the tops of his little feet. So we're starting to really get some dimension out of those little legs. I'll show them to you. See? They're super cute. Those colors go really, really smoothly together. I like them a lot. This one is Y35. And this is going to be I must have moved my camera closer to me because I keep scooting up there. I think because I usually have it back further. So this is Y35, and this is going to bring a little bit of a yellow tone into the feet, just like we did with the beak. So I'm going to put some of that down in here, just leaving a teeny bit for that last color to smooth it over. I'm going through his little feet here, a little bit down from here just to smooth that transition, and then in these little webbed areas, leaving just a small amount, like a little highlight amount in there. I'm so glad you like them. You know, we had playing cubs, so little bears in the release, Naptime Bunny in the release, and then these little waddling ducks. They're super cute. They are super cute, I agree. I love them all in this release. Aww. I'm sorry, your feet always freezes with me. Is that because I'm always cold? Ha ha ha. Okay, so YR31 is the last one, and that's where we're just going to fill in the remaining part that's showing, and it's going to kind of lighten up those areas because this color is very light. Very, very light. But it's back to that YR color instead of just yellow. Oh no. Oh yeah, it's really hard when you get a bunch and you get them all out of sequence. That's kind of how they sell them in the packages. They never sell the ones that go really, really well together. I think that's that's how they get ya. Yes, that's true. See what we have in stock, because we have a lot, and we have really good price on them, so it's worth looking into. Okay, so looky there, we have little feet, little webbed feet. And when I hold it up, you'll see that I have one little spot that I went out. It's really hard to see, but it's right there that I went out of the lines. So I am going to fix that real quick with my colorless blender pen. I'm just going to push that color back in. There's another spot here. And there's one right here. And so when you do this with your colorless blender, you don't want to touch. You don't want to touch right on here. I'll hold it closer so you can see. You don't want to touch right on the line where you want it. You just want to do it like maybe out here, like that, and it will push it back in. And you don't want to do it for very long. You want to put very teeny tiny amount on there, because the more wet and saturated, it'll start pulling that color back out. So you can fix corrections. If you have a big spot, you need to do a little bit, wait, let it dry, come back later, do a little bit, then wait, let it dry, and just keep doing that, and you can usually eventually get it back into the lines. But the only exception to that really is red. Red, you can try and move red, but it's really hard to move red because of the pigment that's in the red. So be very careful with red. Okay, so I've chosen the colors that we're going to do the bodies with, and we're going to use Y19, which is almost like, has a little bit of an orangey tone to it. Then we're going to go to Y15, and then we're going to jump to Y32, and then we're going to jump back to Y11, and then we're going to go to Y00. Wow, rainbow ducks? Yeah, you just go for that. We are going to do yellow ducks tonight because I've already picked the paper I want to put them on, and I need yellow ducks for that. But if you saw today in the group, one of our design team members posted a photo where she did the yellow ducks with some black in them. It's so cool. So you'll definitely have to look at that. Jamie, you know how I am with rainbows. You go right ahead and do a rainbow duck. It will look way better if you do it than if I do. I know you always do rainbows because you're good at it. I have to practice rainbows 3 or 4 times before I can do a rainbow live. Otherwise, you're going to get a big mess. Okay, so I'm going to start on this duck in the back first. So we're going to do him first. This is going to feel a little scary, but trust me. So we're just going to go right off the bat and start putting some yellow around his neck. And I'm going to do it in this swish kind of motion because I don't want to fill it in solidly. I just want to get enough color in there. I promise I'll try to do better. Then I'm going to go along because this duck is in front of this duck. So I'm just going to build myself this little fence over here is what I call it. Like this little barrier to help me when I'm doing my brush strokes. And then I'm going to do very tiny little brush strokes out from here. And I'm going to be moving them based in the direction of how I would want the feathers to go. So they're not all going to go in the same direction. So kind of like that. And then I'm going to do some right here. Down a little bit. And then kind of across like this. Look on his stomach again too. So, no decapitating ducks. Hi, Diane. So I'm really just putting in the base of where I'm going to want the most, where it's going to look like he has the most feathers because it's going to be darker in there. But once we add the other colors on top, it's not going to be so prominent like it is right now. So I'm going to build this little barrier here and I'm going to do some little strokes out from there. And then down here, I'm going to build this little, I don't know, diamond shape because I want it to show that that's where his leg goes up into his body. I'm going to do the same thing on this side because that part would be darker because that's where his leg is. So it looks pretty silly right now. I'm going to also do around this area right here with just teeny tiny little brush strokes. Everybody with me? We got funny looking ducks up by us. And I'm going to do just a really light under his eye. So we do have funny looking ducks if they look like this. But it's gonna look super cute when I'm done though. When you're done, if you're coloring too. This is Y15. It's gonna be a bit lighter than the one that we just did. So I'm gonna go up, brush strokes up from this area where I put the darkest color. A little bit up further on his neck, and then I'm going to go down from this way. So now we're building in those thick areas where they have more feathers. I'm going to go up from here. A little bit up from here. So we're just kind of building it in. I'm going to go down from here, but I'm going to make them just, oops, that one went a little too far, but that's okay. We'll fix it. Go down from here. And I got happy. with my hand there. Yeah, I think you can put stuff in your cart and just leave it there. I think you can do that. No, I never put stuff in my cart and leave it sit there on our website, but I do it on a lot of websites. I think if I do it on Amazon, they send me messages and say, hey, that's not in your cart. So I started making wish lists so they wouldn't say that to me anymore. Oh yeah, I don't know if there is how long it would keep it in the cart. But you guys could certainly tell us if you figure that out. Now I'm going to do just a little bit out from here. I don't want to do too awful much, but I am going to do a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and close that underside of his chin because it won't get much light. I'm just going to go along this exact same line one time where I put it before. So it's really just putting a little mark to show an indent where his eye is. Okay, I'm going to move to Y32. Am I coloring duck parts? I am coloring duck parts. This Y32 is going to be a different, it's going to kind of tone down, like if I put it over here, it's really more like I don't know, like these are really, really light yellows, bright yellows, and this one is more like a cream colored yellow. Parts is parts. And so I'm going to do that same process. I'm just going to be going up from where I put the last color. This is my third color, so it's really my true duck color. So I am going to go around the top of his head as well. And then I'm going to go the buttery yellow. That's a good way to say it, buttery yellow. I'm going to go down here. But I am going to leave some of his little chest area for these other yellows I'm going to come back in with afterwards, the lighter colors for the highlight. I'm going to go down. I'm going to soften that one that I went too far on. We're going to try to make that disappear, but I don't know how well that'll work, but we'll do it. We'll try. Using quite a bit more of this color. Because it's the color of the duck. Yeah, we might do some while we're gone, but it's all going to depend on where because we'll be doing a lot of traveling during that time, so we'll be on the road. I'm going to go around his eye a little bit more because this is my true color. So he looks really funny right now. Looks really, really funny. Hello, Elizabeth. We are coloring waddling ducks. This one is Y11. If you come into the video a little bit late, know that if you rewatch it on YouTube, I put the color combos in the details so you can get your colors ready when you're going to rewatch and color with me. So if you missed any of the other colors, you'll be able to repeat this whenever you print out your sweet little waddling ducks. Just filling in a little more space. Now this one's going to really start making it look that color I really wanted. This is, I wouldn't normally be putting this much in there, but see how I made that little line disappear that was in the really dark color? I really wanted to get rid of that line, so I used this one to kind of cover that up. So this is really smoothing out the colors and making them blend well together, but it's still leaving those dark areas where he'd have a lot more shadow from a lot more little feathers. Yes, there are 358 in the sketch line of markers. I don't have that many for Chow, but for sketch, that's how many they have. And then the highlight area, we're just going to fill in with the Y00, and this one is really light. So I'm just going to go over those areas that I left white, and this will leave them very light. And down here, I'm just going to do it in a back and forth motion to blend that together. Notice I'm doing it on the side of the marker because I want to put a whole lot more. I want to put a whole lot more on the paper, a whole lot more color on the paper. So I'm also pressing a little bit harder when I'm doing this because I want to saturate the paper a little more with this color. So then we have this sweet little duck right here. And he looks a little bit right here like it didn't blend quite well enough. Do you see that? Well, you know, people don't always get all of them unless they're like us and they want them all. They sometimes start with just getting the ones that they'll use the most, or depending on what they color. But if you start coloring a lot of stuff, you know, and you start getting pretty good with it, then you want more. The more colors you can get, the better. Because you get tired of coloring the same things in the same colors all the time. Full set syndrome, yes. So it didn't take me long to want all of them. I will tell you that at first I wanted to get like all the blue and all the purple and all the red, and then I realized that it was more important for me to get all the earth tones because there's so many different variety of earth tones, and you need it for skin and ground and, you know, dirt and everything. Brown for everything. And then you add, yes, like you add as you take a class or as you decide, you know, oh, I think I need more in this spectrum. I think I need more in that, you know. So people just tend to add as they go. It took me 1.5 to 2 years to get the full set. Yes, the grays, yeah. I finished my E family first. Yes, I did too. I finished my E family first. And I finished the grays last. So I bought all the cool grays and all the warm grays. And then I was like, well, I mean, does it really make a difference on the tones and the neutrals? But once I saw Jamie do a witch with the T's and or the ends, and I was like, oh yeah, it really, I said, how'd you get that to look like that? And she was like, oh, I used the T's or I used the ends. And I was like, okay, yeah, I need those. So I bought all those too. Yep, see, we're on the same path, Jamie. Exactly. Okay, so this duck is standing kind of with his little chest sticking out, or at least that's the way I colored him, and then his little belly. And this one is not going to look like that. It's going to be a little bit different because this whole chest area right here is all sticking out. So this is all going to be my lightest part, and then this other stuff is going to be where the darker part comes in. So I am going to start by, yeah, you know, chopping his head off again. So I'm going to kind of do these little brush strokes from under his neck. So now he looks like he has a nice little necklace on. And then I'm going to do some little ones here Notice how the two on the end, I kind of tried to curve them towards the eye, and the other ones went straight up. And I did that on purpose because I want it to make his eyes stand out when I get to that part. I missed what you said before. I mean as a set. So maybe if Jamie saw that, she can answer that question. And then right here, I'm going to do some brush strokes up and a few down because I want this area right here to have some heavy coloring in it because that's where his little wing flaps. And then I'm going to do I'm going to build this little wall right here first. And then I'm going to do some brush strokes kind of curving around underneath that wing because it'll be dark there. I am going to put a little bit right here where his little tail is. And then I'm going to come down here and do these same little triangle marks where his legs are. So I really want that to, you see how that looks there? It really looks like he has those legs up underneath his feathers. So I'm kind of building that in. That's what those triangular shapes are doing. Haha, yay. Okay, good, thanks. Thanks for handling that, Jamie. So this one has a little bit less dark on it just because of the way that he's standing, or the way that the way I drew him standing. Wow, yeah, that would be great. The next one is Y15. Exactly. I know. Me too. I aim to please as well. I am going to do a little bit right here along the sides of his beaks with the second color. Not much. Probably won't be able to see it much right now, but it'll make a difference later. Then I'm going to pull from here where I put that dark color, kind of following around, making the strokes kind of in a circular motion, like following the body of the little duck. And then I'm going to kind of start going up his neck a little bit and smoothing these edges out with this color. So kind of like that. And then I want to put just a little bit around the top of his head because we're going to start building that in as a little bit of shadow right there because his head is round. And then I'm going to build up from here and then marry those two colors together right there. I'm going to brush stroke a little bit out from here. And then I'm going to follow this down, bringing it around a little more, kind of doing the brush strokes in a bent, not a straight. So you don't want to do them like this, you want to do them like this. And you come down this side right here. Okay, hold on, I need a drink. Too much talking today, I guess. I stopped by my mama's house today. On my way home and I was just talking my head off. I talked her ear off. And we're smoothing the transition of this really dark tone right here, where his legs are. And this little bit back here, smooth that out a little bit. And then we got to do these, extending that out just a little bit more. So let me show. Yes, I did too. So up close, like he looks like he has a mask on. He'll be cute when he's done. And then Y32. Yes, you got lots of making takes and I got lots of cutting to do tomorrow. That's going to be my plan. Y32. This is that one that's going to be the true color of the duck, so I am going to follow this one all the way around. And then I'm going to do some brush strokes on top of his head. Kind of build that. I'm going to come up from his neck right about where his beak stops and then down the sides of his beak like this. And then around the bottom and up the side to where it stops. So now we've kind of left him this little, almost a Batman mask. Good night. Good night, Jamie. I am going to soften these up a little bit, but I'll just keep extending it out. So now he looks like he really has a mask on. Okay, moving on down here, we're going to just brush these down a little bit further with longer brush strokes. So we want to start filling in his big chest here and round that off. Just longer brush strokes here. I am going to finish off this area right here and then bring those brush strokes up. I'm going to come along here, kind of keeping these going. Smoothing this area over here out. And we're going to go down his wing a little bit with this color. Still the long brush strokes. And then we're going to finish all but the tiny tip of his tail. So he looks a little bit like this. Now, see how solid this line looks? And these are all like the brush strokes? Well, I don't want it to look like that, so I'm going to put a few little brush strokes in here because I want us to kind of look more featherish. And do the same thing on this side. Just kind of giving it some uneven looks so that it's a little bit softer. It'll look better in the end if you do that, but we don't want any harsh lines in there. Now we're going to follow around to our Y11. This one's going to be more bright yellow again. But we have one more color after this, so we don't want to fill everything in. We're going to start down here, kind of bringing this yellow in a little bit more. You see how much brighter that yellow is? I'm going to go over it a second time just to get that real brightness coming out. Now I'm going to come up from the bottom. And then I'm going to go all the way around this wing right here. Even just a little tiny spot for the highlight. His little tail I'm going to finish off. And then I'm going to come up here and do his little underneath his eye. But I'm going to leave a little bit at the top of his eye because I want more highlight to be at the top. And then I'm going to come down here, down from this side, over this side. I want to kind of soften this a little bit. He looks angry. Good night. I'm going to use the last color, which is Y00. To finish it off. Now this is a really, really light color, so it'll lighten up some of the stuff. So I'm going to use those back and forth brush strokes to fill this in, just like we did with the other one. On the side, giving it a lot of ink. Really wetting that paper. Going over it twice. Really, really wetting that paper. Same thing with his wing. This one, I'm going to do it the same way, but it's going to be tiny little brush strokes back and forth because it's just a small area. And then I'm going to do over his eye, really close to his eye, but you have to be very gentle not to go in his eye because we don't want them to have yellow eyes. So I'm going to go one more time over this part right here. And I'm going to go one more quick time right over here. Now when I flip him over, wait, there's one more spot right here that's not real saturated. And I want that to be saturated. So when I flip him over, you can see that I put a lot more saturation in these areas. It's because I held the marker down more heavily on the paper when I did it because I wanted it to be really wet. So now we have these sweet little ducks colored up. And now we have to do their eyes. So it's a really simple little process because these eyes are so tiny. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, you could leave them like this and it would be fine. But I like to put a little bit of color in the eyes. I just think it's cute. So I chose BG13. It's a fairly light color. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go around his eye in a circle just to give him a little bit of blue. And I am going to do this very carefully and barely touching the paper. If you don't feel comfortable with your markers, then you don't have to do this part. But see, I put little circles around his eyes, which really made them look really good. So then, one more thing on his eyes to really make them pop out, and that is using your white gel pen. So this is my white gel pen. We usually sell them in the shop, but if you can't find them in our shop, they're from Pear Blossom Press. And you can find them there. And they work really good. I usually do mine a little bit off the paper first just to make sure that it'll make a teeny tiny dot. And then I touch the eye with it. So I know that it's already flowing. But when I hold this up, you're going to see how teeny tiny dots it makes. This gel pen is like amazing. Look at how sweet those little ducks look. Aren't they the cutest? They are really adorable. So let me show you what I did with these ducks because this is coloring them for you guys, but I've already colored them once. So watch how fast this is. Okay, look at the project we did. Isn't this amazing? And now we'll put it on a card. Wow. Look at that. Aren't they the cutest? So this part right here and this part right here I did on a gel press. So I just put the ink on the gel press and then put the paper on it. And this one at the top I used a stencil to do the gel press. And it was really cool. So I made this one. There's nothing on the inside, but I made this one. This is our waddling ducks. And then I also mentioned that we have the bunny, the Naptime Bunny. So this is my Naptime Bunny. So it comes with the bunny and a carrot. So because it's digital, you can make the carrots, this is to show you can make the carrots little or you can make the carrots big. So I made this carrot like it was his little bed that he was sleeping on. And then he's dreaming of carrots. And so I had some extra carrots, so I put them inside. So that was fun. In the background, this background is just paper from like Stampin' Up! Has this really cool paper pad, and I just used that paper so it looks like grass. And then the sky, there's clouds in the sky. That's also just paper. And then the third one that's in the shop are these sweet little plain cubs. So I colored them up brown in their little claws, the little eyes and sweet. And I put your friendship means the world to me. So Jamie is going to color these cubs tomorrow, I think. I think she said tomorrow. I can't remember. There's nothing on the inside, but so these are the 3 that got released. And then this is the one we colored tonight, and here it is. Yes, I have been very busy today, but do you want to see what I was really doing? This is 180 fish I fussy cut today. That's insane, isn't it? And I have a whole bunch more, but anyway, yes, this is the new release, and this is the little ducks, and they're not hard to color. I mean, I know that sometimes when you see an image and it doesn't have any of the detail built in, but it's very simple to do. So definitely try it. And then, of course, if you ever have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and I will help you in any way I can. But yeah, isn't that neat how it comes to life? I just love that. And these little bears were the same way. They're super duper cute. And then the bunny. I love the way the carrots came out. They were really, really fun. Maybe I'll color the carrots sometime. We can color the carrots together. But there's our ducks. Oh, so I use, for fussy cutting, I use my cutter bees. Yes, the fish. No, the fish are for, they're for the make and take at the expos. And we're doing it at every expo. So we have to have 200 to 300 for every expo, and we're doing all 12 of them next year. So we're coloring and cutting fish like in our sleep. So I use my cutter bees. I know Jamie uses cutter bees. I have seen some other types of scissors that you can use, but you want them to be very, very, very sharp so that they cut really well. And I still have this many more to cut. So I'll be cutting a lot. I'll be cutting on the airplane when I fly to Jamie's. I'll be cutting. So I'll be super busy. Super, super busy. But anyway, I hope, hi Becky. We just finished coloring these ducks from the release. And so if you want to watch the replay, you'll be able to see everything. I do own a scan and cut. And I am going to cut the other ones with the scan and cut. But I went on a trip yesterday with my husband, and I was in the car for an hour and a half each way. And so I decided that I would fussy cut while I was on the road. Hire someone to help us out. Oh, we got it. We're just really busy. Yes, yeah. Well, I have a scan and cut, so I know tomorrow I'll be able to cut all the rest of them just by the scan and cut. It'll be really quick and easy. But since I was on the road, I thought I would take up as much time as I could, doing that. Yes, use the scan and cut. I don't mind fussy cutting, so I just did it on the road. But I got 180 of them done driving back and forth, so that wasn't too bad. I was kind of proud of myself for that. But anyway, so yes, these are our ducks, and definitely watch the replay if you wanna color along with me. Thanks so much for joining me. You guys have a good evening, and I'll see you soon.